Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to the 20 podcast here on the Dugout Football channel and the Totally Levy and Horne Football Pod. And also, hello to everyone over on Twitch as well. Yes, it's good to be back live. Has been a while. Has been a while. But yeah, as you can see, no Karl. Yeah, Mr. Levy is at a social group this evening. So will not be with me tonight. But he will be with me. He will be with me next week. He will be with me next week, and I am meant to be being joined by Steve Jenkins from Uh, Mr. B Hive Football Chat as well. Maybe getting joined from him as well tonight as well. But yeah, we'll start the show. We'll start the show. Let us say hello to a few of you. Warren's Team Talk is in. Hello, hello, hello. How are you? Hope you're well. And hello to Stephen Dewar as well. And I'm not doing too bad. Throat's a little bit throat's a little bit sore, but apart from that, I'm not doing too shabby, my friend. Not doing too shabby as well. And yeah, guys, if you do like this content, please do think and consider about hitting the subscribe button on both my channel and on the Totally Levy and Horn Football Pod. I did notice in the last 28 days, 69% of you are actually watching but are not subscribed. So please hit that subscribe button. Doesn't cost you a thing. And yeah, please do help the channel. So yeah, absolutely, please do help both our channels as well. And yeah, we'll kick things off very very soon. And Graham's off from Liverpool. Yeah, we will get to it. We will get to it very very sure. Now the headlines: Ngumoha makes history as he becomes Liverpool's youngest ever goal scorer at the age of 16 and 231 days old. What were you doing at 16, eh? What were you doing at 16? Yeah, this kid, I've been raving about him for a number of weeks during the preseason. I thought he was excellent in preseason. I thought he was going to look very very good tonight. Yesterday as well when he came on. So yeah, it's nice to see him make history because finished it really, really well. Obviously, we will get to the other results. Graham Potter, bad start to West Ham's season. Is he likely to be the first manager to be sacked? I know Karen Brady came out and said that they trust Potter, they trust his, the way of his thinking, but is the writing on the wall potentially for Mr. Potter. That could be another thing. We'll also discuss about potentially Forest about to get rid of Nuno. A lot of rumours about Nuno Espirito Santo over the weekend there. Yeah, will Forest get rid of him? That's another thing. We will get onto that as well. Everton win at their new stadium. The first game at their new stadium, they did win that one. And Bruno Fernandes, should Manchester United cash in on Bruno Fernandes? So lots to discuss, as I've said. And yeah, we'll be speaking obviously about Arsenal 5, Leeds United 0. I kind of get the feeling Karl didn't want to be here tonight. Nah, I'm only joking. I'm only joking. Only joking. Only joking. So, excuse me. But yeah, let's kick things off. And we'll kick off with Newcastle United 2, Liverpool 3. What an unbelievable game of football. Look, first things first, credit to Newcastle. I thought they played really, really well. I thought they played really, really well last night. Very unlucky not to go away with at least a point. Um, we didn't play well at all. We were very, very sloppy, I thought. Um, and it's probably the worst performance under Slot, I would say. Um, but having said that, it is nice to go away with a victory, knowing that you were in front, you get pegged back, and you managed to get you managed to get that result in the end. A lot of controversy. We'll get to it. Look, Simon Hooper. Now, this is a guy who if you remember, was in charge of the game when Liverpool had a goal ruled out for a legitimate onside goal. Um, and I was worried when he was appointed yesterday because, as far as I can tell, I felt he let so many things go yesterday. I think when you look at Newcastle, he allowed, he was basically giving everything to Newcastle, almost, I think, for about sort of the first 35 minutes. Um, it took him to the 44th minute to book to book a Newcastle player. Now that is obviously bad, to say the very very least. What I will say about that though is then obviously after that we obviously get the red card decision. But Newcastle should have been out of sight. If they had a striker, they would have scored. They would have scored two or three. Let's be honest. They would have scored two or three. Um, and up until the red card, I thought Anthony Gordon had his best game. He was the best player on the pitch by a country mile. He was really, really good. But then, moment of madness. I mean, I've seen people say this isn't a red card, but the full force of what he's gone into, Virgil van Dijk, is a red card. Um, Nowhere near the ball, basically catches him down his calf. And you're getting Newcastle sort of fan pages on social media saying this is never a red card. Sorry, it's 100% a red card. Um, I think he is unlucky because he is trying to pull out the tackle. But I think when you kind of see what what he did, I think you can't really have any complaints. Can't really have any complaints that he's been sent off. I think the worst thing about it is Simon Hooper gave a yellow card to begin with. Now I would have just given him a straight red completely. Um, but up until that point, he was the best player on the pitch. And moment of madness. Look, I know Virgil van Dijk's basically comforted him off the pitch after that. But he knows himself. He's let his teammates down. He basically came out on social media after it and apologised. So I think, look, I think it's one thing to say that, but it was a very very bad challenge from Anthony Gordon. And not like him at all, not like him at all. So, but anyway, that's obviously the sort of the controversial moments in the game away. Um, let's get to the goals. Gravenberg, fantastic strike. Um, Basically catches Nick Pope out. Lovely finish into the bottom corner. Does take a deflection off Fabian Schär. Um, and that's 1-0. That is 1-0. And then, almost immediately, obviously, they get the red card. Goes into half time 1-0. Yeah, and I'm like, okay, we're in ahead at half time, 1-0. But I was very, very disappointed with the performance. Let me just say, I was disappointed at the performance because I thought a whole game yesterday, we just didn't play well. Simple as that. We just didn't play well at all. But we get the 2-0. Ekiteke again. That's 3-3 now for Hugo Ekiteke, which is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant to say the very, very least. And then, yeah, Newcastle came back into it. Bruno Guimaraes. Um, I think we're back. I think I lost connection there just for a wee minute. Um, Rio Ngumoha, a player who I have been ranting and well, not ranting, but raving about all this preseason, and he scored a fantastic goal yesterday. Lovely play, Chiesa into Salah, Salah dummy from Soboslai, and then fantastic goal for for Ngumoha, and yeah, youngest ever Liverpool goal scorer. Absolutely incredible. Youngest ever Liverpool goal scorer. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And yeah, 3-2. Undeserved, but that's football. That is football. That is football for you, as well. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and obviously the live chat, as well. As hello to Sir Scotty 99. Hope you are well. Hope you're well. I'm not doing too badly, mate. I hope you are well. And also it was a very very good very very good win. Yes. Sorry, I don't know what is going on tonight. Very, very unlike. I don't know what's happening tonight, but I'm back. I'm back. Um, Sobo's work rate was amazing. What rating would you give Gakpo? Sobo was amazing. I'll give him that. He was amazing. He was fantastic at right back. I would also say as well that he did play well when he came into the middle as well. I think that was very, very good to say at the very, very least. Um, Sobo, it's disappointing to say the very, very least because, Gakpo did actually have a good game up until that point. Um, Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that Ngumoha should be starting games. Let me just say that. But if he's an option to come off the bench, then I'm all for it. I'm absolutely all for it for sure. Um, so yeah, definitely one to keep an eye on for sure. But Newcastle, look, there will be a bit in the stream later on where we basically speak about transfers. They badly need a striker. They need a striker. They need, I think, probably two strikers. If I'm being really honest, I think they do need two strikers. Um, and I think they'll get them. I think they will get them. There's talk about Strand Larson. That seems to have ramped up again. It's whether or not they get that second striker, though, isn't it? It's whether or not they get that second striker. So yeah, I think Newcastle watch the space. They'll probably get striker, but that game came at a bit of a blow for them because they've lost Joe Linton. He's now injured. Tonali looks like he's out for a wee while as well, and obviously Anthony Gordon's now going to be banned for 3 matches as well. Not what Newcastle need. Not what Newcastle need. But does this mean that Osula gets a start now? Came on against Aston Villa, looked pretty decent. He came on against Liverpool last night, and he looked pretty decent. So yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed indeed. Hello to John Conway as well. Hope you're well. Hope you're well, John. Thank you for tuning in. So we'll move away from St James's Park and we will move on to the match between Manchester City and Tottenham. Um, Sorry. There we go. There we go. Manchester City 0, Tottenham 2. Very, very surprising result here. Let's just say that Tottenham are definitely Manchester City's bogey side. I thought they played extremely well on Saturday. More question marks over City. I think defensively they can be really got at. I think you can kind of see that that they can be good. They can be really got at. I think, and it's not good looking for City. If we're being honest, I'll obviously come on to obviously talk about what they need in the transfer market, but it's it's really disappointing. Really disappointing from a City point of view. If you're Spurs, you'd be delighted. You'd be absolutely delighted with what has been going on at Spurs. Look, I said that in the summer, I thought Thomas Frank was a very good appointment. I thought he would have been a really, really good appointment for any sort of top club. And obviously Spurs have managed to get his services. I think is really, really good to say the very, very least. And I'm going to say this now as well that Spurs, yes, they lost to PSG, but you could see signs that the team there is doing really, really good under Thomas Frank. They were excellent as the Etihad, absolutely excellent. Pape Sarr was unbelievable. The amount of times that he was going through that midfield, through to try and make attempts as well. Kudus, excellent. Richarlison, really, really good. He's had a new lease of life, hasn't he? Richarlison, he has had a new lease of life. And I'd also say the other person for me who's been excellent for Spurs recently is Brennan Johnson, to say the very, very least. Um, and I think when you look at Spurs, they're a team that always seem to win at the Etihad. It doesn't matter who manages Spurs; they just have a knack of beating City. Um, and the first goal comes from a really bad mistake from John Stones. Don't know what he's trying to do. Basically, trying to play sort of Richarlison offside. Um, goes through, and then obviously Brennan Johnson finishes it. Now, at that point, it's 1-0. It's obviously 1-0 to Spurs. But should James Trafford have seen red? Now, obviously, the second goal does lead to his mistake because it's a really, really poor clearance from James Trafford. Tries to play Nico Gonzalez. Tottenham onto it like a flash. Pape Sarr, fantastic, and then it plays to Kudus, and then Paulinho gets in the act to get that 2-0. Very, very good. But should James Trafford have been sent off? Now, I think if you look at what happened in sort of this passage of play, ball's coming over. Trafford's came out. He's kicked Kudus in the stomach. Then it comes off his arm. Now, for me, there's probably two instances there. You'd probably say, right, he's kicked Kudus in the stomach. Has he got the ball? Yes, he has got the ball. Follow through's got him in the stomach. But the ball's hit his arm. The ball's hit his arm. Now, if any. Sorry, my connection went there again. But what I was saying about obviously James Trafford is bigger kettle of fish to swallow when he is at Manchester City. And Burnley for me did really, really well to get 30 was it £30 million for James Trafford because they've got Martin Dubravka, who I think is a very, very good study for Burnley. So there will still be question marks obviously of is there Donnarumma potentially coming to the Etihad, and it's always a case of looking at this team. That's a very concerning performance from Manchester City. Now, I would obviously say, oh, of this tonight. I don't know what is happening tonight. Wi-Fi is just feeling very under the weather. Um, and yeah, I have froze. So yeah, thank you for that. Um, what I will say though, when you look at Manchester City, this is a very concerning performance. Not just because of the fact that they lost, but more to the fact is that these performances were kicking in last season. They were really, really bad last season. So there is question marks over that. There's definitely a bit of question marks over what's been happening in Manchester City. And I think when you look at Man City, they need a right back. They need a right back because Rico Lewis is not the answer at right back. If they think Rico Lewis is the answer at right back, then I'm sorry, but you've got that completely wrong as far as I'm concerned. Um, really, really concerning performance from Manchester City. I honestly, I have no idea what is happening. Actually, do you know what? What I'll try and do, if it does go off again, if it does go off again, then we'll try something different. We'll try something different. Yeah, apologies about this. Anything can happen in your life. Anything can happen in your life, and especially with the Wi-Fi feeling under the weather slightly, as obviously does Dane said as well. But let me know your guys' thoughts in the chat as well. John Comey says, I'm good, thank you, Douglas. How are you? I'm not too bad, mate. Sportcastle Northeast Sports says, evening, mate. How are you doing? Managed to get some signal outside the Stadium of Light. Nice. Yeah, Sunderland against Huddersfield tonight. So enjoy that match, mate. Yep, I did freeze. I did freeze. And Wi-Fi is feeling under the weather. Yes, it certainly is. It certainly is. Yeah, look, the one thing I will say about Arsenal is that's a very good result against Leeds. Um, look, I think the one thing you can say about Gyökeres, he is going to be a striker that will do well. I think he will do well at Arsenal. Um, Timber getting 2 goals is quite a surprise, I've got to say. But again, I think when you look at Arsenal, it's a very, very good win. But again, it's come at a cost. Odegaard got injured and Saka got injured. Now Saka's got another hamstring. Are we starting to come to a feeling that Saka's career could be cut short because of it? I've frozen again. I've frozen again. I don't know what is going on with this Wi-Fi, to be honest. Let me just double check something. Give me two ticks. Give me two. Sorry, excuse me. Yeah, guys, the Wi-Fi is being very, very temperamental tonight. I can only apologise. If it does happen again, then I will go on to my hotspot and see if that works. If it doesn't, then yeah, I may have to cut the stream, which is very sad because I'd obviously want to do that. But yeah, it's it's not behaving tonight for some reason. Not behaving tonight for some reason. But we'll carry on. We'll carry on. Where was I? I've lost my train of thought. Saka, yes. Is his career going to be cut short because of injuries? That's my big concern about Bukayo Saka. If his career is going to be cut short by injury. I think Arteta needs to take some blame because I think if you look at what he has been doing with Saka, he does seem to play him way too much. Um, and also, I think you've got a feeling of like the way that he's been sort of managed recently by England and by Arsenal. It's not great, not great at all. So yeah, I think Arsenal could be. Um, I think Arsenal could have a bit of a problem there. Obviously, Madueke did come on at half time. Max Dowman obviously came on as well. He's another youngster to look out for. He's been very good recently as well. Um, but yeah, it's very disappointing to say the very least. And I think you don't want a player to have his career cut short by injuries, but it feels like Bukayo Saka is going that way. And maybe, maybe it's one of those things. Maybe it is one of those things, and maybe he does go and gets cut short by injuries. But yeah, we'll see. We'll obviously wait and see. But it's one of those ones, isn't it? It's one of those for sure. Just double check. It seems to be working all right at the moment. Guys, keep getting your comments in. And as I said, I will still continue as well. But yeah, just a quick one on Leeds. This result will not determine their season for sure. Free hit basically for them. Yeah, and away at Arsenal's, away at your Anfields, away at your Etihad's. It's going to be a difficult season for Leeds, but yeah, it's 5-0 doesn't really tell the whole story. Doesn't really tell the whole story, and I don't think Leeds United fans will be too concerned about that result at all. So yeah, going to say that. Got to say that now for sure. Okay, we'll move on. And yeah, West Ham 1, Chelsea 5. Jared Pedro with 2. Enzo Fernandez with 1. Stabio looked a really good player when he came on the other night as well. Chalobah got 1. Um, and again, poor goalkeeping from Mads Hermansen. Really bad goalkeeping, to say the very least. I'm going to say this now. I put in the title Graham Potter to be sacked soon. I wouldn't be surprised if he is, to be honest. I would not be surprised if he is. Really surprising to me that he's still in West Ham. If I'm being honest, I'm very surprised he is still at West Ham. But that's 8 goals in 2 games that they've conceded. 3 at Sunderland, they're absolutely hopeless at Sunderland in that second half, and then against Chelsea, look, Paqueta gets the opening goal, fantastic strike to say the very least, and obviously Jared Pedro gets the goal to equalise for Chelsea. Pedro Neto gets on the score sheet as well, but it's disappointing for West Ham because they don't really have that fear factor anymore. The London Stadium, I think that's the 8th time that they've lost 5 by 5 goals or more at the London Stadium. That is a big concern. I think I read as well the only time they've only had one big defeat at Upton Park. So the home scenario for West Ham is not good. Is not good at all. Graham Potter's been there nearly 6 months now. It's not looking good. It's not looking good for West Ham. They'll go to Nottingham Forest on Sunday, and if I'm being honest, it's going to be very, very interesting to see how well they actually do at Forest. And I just think the way West Ham are going, they could be one of the big ones to potentially go down. Like there's always that saying, isn't there, that you're not too big to get relegated, and it does feel like that could be the case with West Ham. But if you're Chelsea, that's a fantastic win, 5-1 away from home. I think big things are expected of this Chelsea side. I really, really do. I do think that big things are expected of this Chelsea side. And yeah, I think if you look at what's been happening with Chelsea, I think it's going to be a very good season for them. And obviously, they've got the Champions League draw to come on Thursday as well. So that'll be something to look forward to. But yeah, West Ham, really poor performance, and very concerning the amount of goals that they are conceding, to say the very, very least. Right, we'll move on. We'll move on. Excuse me. Ratara gives Brentford first win under Andrews. Yes, we'll get into the sort of the relegation candidates here. Brentford won, Aston Villa 0. A very big win for Brentford, to tell you the very, very truth. Great to see Queeve get a clean sheet. I think that's another thing to say. The very, very least, he's got a clean sheet, so that's absolutely fantastic. What will I say as well? Dango Matara, another player who came from Bournemouth and has done very, very well for Bournemouth. He's signed for Brentford now and got the winning goal. I think you've got to say that Brentford did deserve to win. Should have been more. Should have been a lot more. But Brentford make the G-Tech a bit of a fortress. Then no matter what they do on the road, they might do well. They might do well. Um, Disappointing to say the very, very least, obviously losing at Nottingham Forest, but great result for Brentford against Villa. Villa, I don't know what's happened with Villa recently. There's no width. They've lost that kind of the wingers with obviously Leon Bailey going to Roma on loan. Obviously they've lost John Duran as well. Yeah, there's a lack of width in this Villa side, and I think that's a big, big concern if I was Villa for sure. I think it's a real concern, a real concern, to say the very, very least. So, um, but Brentford, very, very good win. Should Damsgaard's goal stood? Like, I think it's safest thing to say you are going to get free kicks given to you if you're like that, unfortunately. Um, and yeah, we always say goalkeepers get too much protection, don't they? They get too much protection. So um, I'm not really surprised by the fact that that goal was ruled out. To say the very, 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 very least. Um, But in hindsight, I think is a wonderful thing. But that's a big win for Brentford and a big, big win for Keith Andrews, because I think if you look at what's been happening with Brentford, they have lost in Burmo, they've lost Norgard, they've lost a lot of players. But the thing is, I think with Brentford is, as I said, if they can make their home a fortress at the G-Tech, I think they'll be absolutely fine. I think they'll be absolutely fine going into that. So yeah, I think a great one for Brentford. Villa just need to get back on the Just need to get back to winning ways, really, don't they? Not a good start to the season for Villa, but a bit of a slow start, to say the very, very least. Burnley 2, Sunderland nil. Yes, all the promoted sides now have 3 points. It's great to see. Look, Burnley made Turf Moor Fortress last season in the Championship. They've now got their first win. Jaden Anthony, getting the first goal, which was very, very good to say the very, very least. And I think when you look at Bournemouth, it's sorry, Burnley. Sorry, I think is a very, very good way to start start your home campaign with a win against a promoted rival of yours. Um, it's a huge win, a huge, huge win. They go to Manchester United on Saturday. Yeah, that's going to be very, very interesting to say the very, very least. But Burnley deserve winners in this game. I don't think Sunderland had the best game. Uh, to be honest, there wasn't much between the sides in terms of chances created, but I think Burnley had the better sort of firepower in this game, and I do think that they had a much better time of it. I would say as well. So yeah, look, Burnley have recruited well. They have recruited well, and I think when you look at Burnley as from a sort of a point of view, when you look at it, they're a good side. They are a good side, but my main worry with them is whether they can keep this up. Is whether they can sort of keep this up. Great win against Sunderland. I'll say that now. Very, very good one for Burnley against Sunderland. But it's whether or not they can keep this up. It's whether or not they can keep this up. And but huge win, absolutely huge win. Obviously, as I said, Burnley going to Manchester United at the weekend. Sunderland back at home against Brentford. So that's another big game for Sunderland. To tell you the very, very truth. Whoa, there's been loads of comments. Loads of comments. Let me say hello. Um, Diz, Haaland is poorly utilised in Spurs match, barely a threat. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would certainly agree with that. Mane's in, even me. Excited for the clash between Liverpool and Arsenal this weekend. And I do believe Saka needs to leave Arsenal to save his career, or Arteta must be sacked. Wow. Arteta overplayed Saka for sure, but excited for Eze. Yeah, absolutely. Eze will be a great player. Hello, bro. Yep, absolutely. Hope you're good. Are you perhaps worried about your defence? Who would you start at the back at Anfield? Ooh. I think Kanate needs a break. I've been saying this for a while. I don't think Kanate is quite at it recently. Um, I don't think he's been great recently, to tell you the very, very truth. For sure. I do feel for Potter in a way, and can't help that Chelsea stint really damaged him. He hasn't recovered since. Um, Very surprised about Hermanson, who was one of Leicester City's better players. Yeah, I was as well. I was as well as well. Not replacing Kudus really blunt their attack. Yeah, absolutely. Jenny, hello. Just dropping by to say hello. Hello, hello. Hope you are well. Hope you're well. No words on Jordan Henderson, how he ran the show very well in midfield. And that goal was rightly ruled out because Collins clearly hit Jack Martinez and he fell. Still a fine one, though. Yeah, great one for Brentford. Absolutely fantastic one for Brentford. I might actually fancy Burnley's chances against United. Who knows? We'll get to Manchester United very, 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 very soon. Um, Bournemouth 1, Wolves nil. Yeah, Tavernier with a winning goal in this one. Toti Gomez sent off, so another big player to miss Wolves' next game. Look, what I'll say is Bournemouth got plaudits for the way they played at Anfield. I think is the safest thing to say. They got a lot of plaudits for the way they played against Wolves. They kind of battered Wolves, if I'm being honest. They had so many chances to. put in put in like one, two, maybe three, but it's it's a big victory for Bournemouth because it starts their season now. Um, but as I said, Wolves, I am worried with it. They're going, and there is talk Strand Larson could be off. There is a lot of talk about Strand Larson potentially going in this window, which would be quite surprising considering he did sign a long-term contract in July. But obviously, Newcastle are desperate, and it remains to be seen if you look at what's been happening with Strand Larson. That'd be a good signing for Newcastle. It really would. But if I'm a Wolves supporter, I would be very disappointed in him signing a new contract and then being like, I fancy another move. But as I said, I am worried for Wolves. I said at the start of the season, are they going to reinvest that money if Strand Larson does go? Because they are getting a player in from Girona. Name off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you, to tell you the truth. Um, but I'm concerned. I'm concerned for Wolves. I'm very concerned for Wolves. Um, and I would be as well. But if you're a Bournemouth fan, then you'll be very happy with that win. And that, as I said, it does kickstart your season. Michael is in the building. Hello, Douglas. Do you think Liverpool should go for Guehi in this window? Yes, absolutely. Likely to be 30 million to get him or a free next summer, and it's all going quiet on Isak. It has gone on quiet on Isak. Um, I think with the amount of days that's left in the window, it's going to be very interesting when that window slams shut. Where Isak is. Is he still at Newcastle? Is he going to be a Liverpool player? We'll never. We'll need to wait and see. We'll definitely need to wait and see. Sure. Man, I think the boys at of the Chosen Departments will be delighted with that win, and I do believe that their use of the 4-1-4-1 formation made a big difference. A lot of pressure on the Wolves defence, and they look good. Yeah, they do look good. They look good at Anfield. They look good at Anfield. So I'll give them high praise for that. Yeah, we'll move on to the last three games. And I've put here Grealish on fire as Blues win at New Stadium. Yes, Everton 2, Brighton 0. Now, Jack Grealish didn't score, but he did play on 2 assists. So that was very good to say the very least. Hello, Velvet Schwan. Thoughts on Jones being a scapegoat from this fan base? I actually thought Curtis Jones had a good game last night. Um, I'm not a fan of people scapegoating people. I've seen Verts now being scapegoated, which I'm just like that. Just get off completely. Um, no, I'm not happy. I'm not happy with that. Velvishwan. I think Curtis Jones had a good game last night. I think Sobozlai was great at right back. And when he needed to be as well. But yeah, Jones being a scapegoat, it's very sad, very sad. I don't like it. I don't like it to say at the very least. Um, but yeah, we'll move on. Grealish on fire as Blues wins the new stadium, as I've said. Everton 2, Brighton 0. Now Jack Grealish didn't score in this game. He assisted twice. First one for Ilman Ndiaye, who, believe it or not, got the last goal at Goodison, and he's got the first goal at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. So yeah, he'll have something. He'll have something in there for sure. Um, Everton were great. Let's put it this way: Everton were fantastic. Back to front. Grealish man of the match, 100% man of the match. James Garner got the second goal. Lovely finish, although I'm a little bit concerned of what Bert Verbruggen was doing. Um, Kind of basically dives when the ball sort of is already passing him. It was a very, very good strike from James Garner. But yeah, I think if you're an Brighton fan, you'd be a bit concerned with your start to the season, I would say. Um, but Everton, very, very good. Obviously, Danny Welbeck missed a penalty as well. Jordan Pickford saved it. Um, and again, I'm looking at Everton this season, and I think David Moyes is a great manager, and I think he will get them playing. He'll definitely get them playing for sure. Um, and I'm a big. I've always been a fan of Jack Grealish since he went to since he's obviously been at Aston Villa, went to Manchester City. He played his part. He definitely played his part in being a very successful player in that treble winning season. Um, hasn't played much recently, but I think now he's got a new lease of life at Everton. He will probably become the main man at Everton. If I'm being honest, I do think he'll become that. Um, so huge win for Everton. As I said, Brighton very poor start to the season, but it is still early. Still is early on. I'd say the very best. Jack is on fire. Your defense is terrified. Petrified. Jack is on fire. Your defense is petrified. Jack is on fire. Na 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 na. Yeah, absolutely. I know what you were doing there, Manny. Yes, Everton have signed Tyler Dibbling from Southampton as well. £42 million, I believe. It's another club record fee, I think, to say the very, very least. So we'll move on. We'll move on. Big win for Everton. Big win for Everton. Crystal Palace won. Nottingham Forest won. The clash of the two sides in a heated battle, to say the very, very least. A heated battle over the Conference League and Europa League, for sure. A fair result. I think it's a fair result. To be honest, Sarr give Palace the lead. Great play again from Crystal Palace. Sarr lovely finish past Dean Henderson, who's obviously returning as an ex-Palace player. And then yeah, a very very very, very good win for a very good goal from Callum Hudson-Odoi, as well to get that 1-1 past Dean Henderson. I am remembering Dean Henderson plays for Palace. He did used to play for Nottingham Forest, but he does play for Crystal Palace. So there you go. There you go. Anyway, but this is where it gets really, really interesting. Nuno Espirito Santo. There was rumours over the weekend that potentially he could have lost his job. Now, I can't remember the journalist's name. It's the Italian journalist Matteo Moretti, I think. Basically, has not been too far wrong in sort of anything Forest related, and he came out with a story saying that Forest were considering sacking Nuno Espirito Santo. Now, I think if you look at it, Nuno has done fabulous job at Nottingham Forest. He's done a fantastic job there. But the fact is that we're basically 2 games into the season, and we're still speaking potentially about the fact that he could get sacked is quite incredible. Um, Look, there's obviously been tension in the boardroom over there. Whatever's happening is another matter. But I think when you look at what's been happening with Forest, it's amazing that they're making a lot of signings now with what's been happening to Marinakas, and as well as that, Forest did draw 1-1 in this game. Nuno's still there at the moment, but how long that will be is another matter. You certainly don't want to cross Maranakis, let's put it that way. Um, but a very strange, very strange situation at Forest. Everything you thought was kind of rosy. Look, we obviously know about the incident that Maranakis came onto the pitch against Leicester City. Um, but I never thought we'd be speaking about 2 games in the season, and there's a rumor potentially about him being sacked. Just quite incredible to say the very very least. So yeah, I think if we're being honest, I honestly hope they don't sack him because I think they're going to plummet down the table anyway because of the fact they got Europa League football. Now that draws on Friday, so could be very very interesting. Could be very very interesting to say the very least. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts about Nuno and Varanakis. It's a very very strange situation to tell you the truth. Manny says Forrest could sack Nuno and replace him with Big Ange. That would be interesting. It certainly would be interesting. It would be difficult to bring on someone with the qualities of Eze for Crystal Palace. Yeah, 100%. 100%, Michael. Two big Greek guys working together. What could go wrong? Anything could go wrong. Anything could go wrong as well. But Palace, good draw. And quite safe thing to say that um, Forest a draw was a fair result. A draw was a fair result. One thing about the Forest chairman, he does provide funds to bring in a number of players for his managers, Steve Cooper and Nuno, hence there were dot points for PSR. Yeah, 100%. 100% agree with you there, Michael. Fulham won. Manchester United won. I don't know how Manchester United have gone away with that game with a draw. Um, they had so many chances. I think Cunha was the most of the guilty party. Um, and then, yeah, the missed penalty. Look, I think there needs to be a discussion now about Bruno Fernandes. Quite clearly, something is affecting him. I don't know if we're looking too much into this for me, but Bruno Fernandes, not the same player. And is it time to cash in? There's obviously talk about him potentially going to Saudi earlier in the season. That's obviously not happened yet. The window closes on Monday. Will he still be at Manchester United by the time the transfer window shuts? I think gut feeling would say yes. I don't think he goes this summer, but I could see him going next summer. I could see him going next summer. You'll be 32 at that point. So yeah, look, it's really really interesting. But that penalty was a joke. I don't know what he's trying to do. Basically trying to hit that as hard as he could. He's basically trying to do a Marcus Rashford against PSG. Um, but that penalty was a joke, an absolute joke. Um, and yeah, coming towards a garden near you, or coming towards the Thames, I would say as well. Just a shocking penalty. Um, Going to halftime 0-0. They come out in the second half, they get the opening goal. Is that a foul, Muniz? I think it's a foul. Rodrigo Muniz has obviously scored an own goal there. Lenny Yoro obviously got his head to it, but it's a foul. So I'm a bit surprised that they didn't get that decision. And then, yeah, Emil Smith Rowe, the defending for this goal is absolutely laughable. Don't know what Delo's doing. Passes it straight out of play to and that wing. It will be, sorry, it was a will be. Plays it in. Who is marking? Are we back? I think we're back. I think we're back. I think we're back. Um, who is marking Emil Smith Rowe? Bruno Fernandes. That just summed up his game. Summed up his game completely. Bruno Fernandes. Really poor marking for the goal. Really poor marking. Um, and after that, Man United created very little. Very, very little. Ruben Amorim has taken, I think, his average in a point a game. 20, sorry, 7 wins in the last 29 games as Manchester United manager. That is a very, very poor stat. It's very, very poor to say that as well. But coming out after the game as well, did you guys see this? Coming out after the game and saying the referee impeded him, that put him off. Come on. You've taken so many penalties that you can just say, "Oh yeah, I've been impeded by the referee. That put me off my pen." No, 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 no. You just had an off game, mate. You just had an off game, to say the very, very least. So, um, but again, Manchester United go to Grimsby tomorrow. Imagine if Grimsby get a result tomorrow. The pressure will be ramped up on Amorim. It really, really will. Um, I think Michael's got a comment actually. Let me just go into Michael's comment. Man United have strengthened their forward line, but the midfield defence and goalkeeping areas haven't really been upgraded. Yeah, Cisco again, non-existent, non-existent again. Really poor. Donnarumma would be great for Manchester United. He would be ideal for Manchester United. He certainly would be. Thoughts on the 8-second rule for goalkeepers? I think it's something that has needed to be brought in. Really, I would say. Um, yeah. So far so good. I think with that for sure. And if United fail to secure European football for a second straight season, Bruno will be off. Claimed he was impeded before the kick by the referee, but as a professional, he should have done better. Yeah, he should have done better. No, 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 no excuses to say the very, very least. He should have done a lot better as well. But yeah, Fulham won, Manchester United won. First time Manchester United haven't won in Craven Cottage for 15 years. 2010, they lost 3-0 to Fulham. So yeah, that was the last time that Fulham beat Manchester United at Craven Cottage. So bit of a surprise, but actually a very good result. Very good result for for Fulham there as well. Right, we are approaching the end of the show, so I have put here transfer deadline day fast approaching. Now, guys, you can get involved in this in the comments. You can decide what you want to do. What position does your club need to strengthen before the window slams shut? Liverpool, for me, defence. Our defence is an absolute joke right now. Um, Van Dijk was imperious last night. I thought he was excellent against Newcastle. But Konate beside him, very sloppy, very very sloppy. So I think that's something that we'll need to look at. But let me know your guys' thought, and obviously Isaac is another one. So we'll wait and see with that one. But um, Liverpool for me, defender, and obviously we can get Isaac. Then that's great. That is really really good. Arsenal, can't really think. Defense maybe. And obviously Kiwior might be leaving, so probably be that. Um, yeah, Arsenal I'd say defense because obviously Kiwior is away to Porto. AFC Bournemouth defensively they look all right. They look all right. Attack wise, I think they're fine. Maybe another midfielder. I think they're a wee bit light in midfield. I think they're a wee bit light in midfield, and that's to say the very very least. Aston Villa, I'd say another forward at least. I would probably say another defender, and maybe say another midfielder because obviously they've lost Jacob Ramsey, so that'd be another one. Brentford, um, they're all right with goalkeeper, defense. I think they're okay. Midfield, I think they're all right. Attack, maybe one more striker. Maybe one more striker. So like Igor Thiago is there. They've got Kevin Shada as well to come in. I'd say a striker and a defender for Brentford. Brighton, um, I'd say another midfielder. Obviously, Baliba does potentially go, which I hope he doesn't. I think he's a really good player for Brighton. Um, Baliba could be that player, but I don't think he goes now. I don't think he goes now. um, Goalkeeper, they're all right. Defense are okay. I'd say another midfielder for Brighton. I would say another midfielder for Brighton. Burnley, probably someone with Premier League experience. I know they've obviously got Dubravka, and I know they've got Kyle Walker, but maybe getting just that know-how player to know how to score goals. I think that'd be another thing for them. Um, Chelsea just need to offload players. I think that's the one thing I think they need to the offload. I would say that Crystal Palace defense obviously Guehi goes. Definitely another a number 10. I believe Bilal El Kanous has fallen through, so I don't think that's going to happen. Um, so yeah, I would say another midfielder, striker. They're all right. I know Eddie and Nketiah is out for a wee while, but they've got Mateta. They've got Edwards. I think came on at the weekend actually, if my memory serves me correctly. So I would say another forward. That's another forward. Everton defense. I would say I do think they need another defender because we don't know what the extent of Jared Braithwaite's injury is going to be. Um, Fulham winger definitely. I'm not so sure about Adama Traore. I've been kind of being on the bandwagon over Adama Traore, if I'm being honest with you. Um, so there's that. Leeds. Yeah, Karl, let me know where you think Leeds need to strengthen. I've already said Liverpool. Man City, for me, goalkeeper. Um, I'm not sure James Trafford is the answer. The fact that they're going to get rid of Ederson, I think as well they're going to get rid of potentially Ortega. So Donnarumma potentially comes in. I think maybe another centre back. Right back is the key area for me. I think I need another right back for sure. Um, Man United goalkeeper. They get Senny Lamens and that's done. But midfielder, they need to strengthen that area. Newcastle striker. I think that's the safest thing to say. Forest. Um, hmm. Forest is an interesting one because I think they're all right, but Nuno said say there's like three other players potentially coming in there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about Forest to tell you the truth. Sunderland centre back maybe. I would say another centre back. I think another centre back would be pretty good for Sunderland. Um, maybe an experienced forward, but again, I think they're pretty stacked with forwards. Tottenham. Uh, I would say a centre back. I would say a centre back. I would also say as well, maybe another winger. I would say another winger. West Ham. I would say striker. I'm not convinced by Hermanson. I'm not convinced with Hermanson at the moment. Not convinced with them at all. Um, I think they need a midfielder. I think they need a defender. I think they need an attacker as well. And then Wolves, if Strand Larson goes, you'd have to say forward. You would have to say forward for sure. But yeah, guys, let me know in the comments. Let me know your guys' thoughts about your club's transfer business, and yeah, we'll see what happens. But guys, going to leave it there. A bit of a stop-start stream, obviously due to technical issues. But thank you for keeping with me. I do appreciate everyone who's tuned in this evening. As I said, me and Karl will be back on Monday for the next episode of the 20 podcast. There's no games on Monday, so we'll obviously be live on Monday for that as well. But guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching another episode of the 20 podcast. As I said, myself and Karl will be back. We're going to be joined by Ryan, who is runs United Central Twitter page and Instagram page. And we'll also be joined by Brad Young, who you saw in the comments, Sportcast Northeast News. He'll be coming on as well. But guys, going to leave it there. Thank you, everyone who's watched. Please do consider hitting that subscribe button. As I said at the start of the show, 69% of you are watching my vids but are not subscribed. So please hit that subscribe button. Doesn't cost you a thing. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye for now. And yeah, thank you for watching. Cheers. Bye bye.